Hi, this is Visitor's Book and I'm Maija, your host. In this program, we're going to be meeting with diplomats and foreigners who are here in Pakistan, and we're going to find out what they really think about the country. So let's go. Drug abuse is a global epidemic that destroys lives and tears families apart all over the world. In Pakistan, it is a topic rarely discussed. Our guest today is Cristina von Sperling Afridi, the founder of Karim Khan Afridi Welfare Foundation. Her fight against drug abuse stems from personal loss. Let's go listen to her story. Hello, Cristina.
Hello.
Hi, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you. So, it's been 5 years now since the tragic death of your son. But I want to start with how you first met with your husband, who's Pakistani, right?
Yes, well, my husband was ambassador of Pakistan, posted in Brazil.
And you're from Brazil yourself.
And I'm Brazilian,
Yeah.
yes. So it happens that he was a polo player and I was a horseshoe jump.
Oh.
So my horse used to be parked in the same stable, let's say, in the same cavalry regiment that he used to play polo. And so basically it was the horse who put us together.
Okay, wow. And he was posted in Brazil and you got married in Brazil,
Yes,
is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
After Brazil, we went to live, he was posted in Jordan, so we were there for 5 years. From Jordan, we went to Portugal for 3.5 years, and where my son was born in Portugal, Karim.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to Libya after that.
Wow, so a
And
lot of
from
different
there,
countries.
We came back here, he retired, and we came back to live in Islamabad, where I've been living for the past 20 years.
Wow. What was the city like when you first came here? What was your life like here at that time?
Islamabad?
Yes.
Well, we've been married for 30 years, and I used to, at the beginning, before I lived here, started to live here, I used to go to Lahore. Because we used to spend the polo season in Lahore. So we used to come to Pakistan and spend the polo season in Lahore. So that was a very interesting, the airport was obviously not like the airport that you have today. It was small and very crowded. The first experience, it was a bit of a film, sort of a situation. I was in it, but immediately been welcome. You know, the Pakistani people are like the Brazilians. We are very friendly people. So therefore, there was whoever has to bond immediately, and I have beautiful, fantastic friends here.
That's amazing. And so your son then basically grew up here mostly in Pakistan?
We came here, Karim was 4 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And fortunately he's gone with 19, so he lived a period of his life here, yeah. He grew up here.
How would you describe him as a person? What was he interested in? What were his aspirations?
Karim was a leader. Fortunately, you could see he will, if he had lived, he will had been certainly a game changer somehow in some areas in Pakistan. Unfortunately, maybe his fate or the wrong choice that prematurely he has to go. Yeah.
And he was going to school here?
Yes, he had just graduated. He just finished his A-level, and he was looking forward to be a lawyer, because I think you have to know the law. Yeah. It's beneficial for you, and but obviously it did not happen.
Did you have any kind of an idea of what was going on at the time?
Look, if I recall my own youth, adolescence, and that's what we are talking about with the youngsters today, with the students, because our foundations focus on youth, basically, because that is the time that we say either you make it or break it. Yeah. So whatever you do during that period of adolescence, it will reflect in your life. But life is busy as such that you do not think that tragedy will knock at your door, right? Especially that we have a very open house on dialogues. We have no problems as such to, you know, to be able to justify any kind of excuse to take drugs or not. But unfortunately, curiosity kills the cat. That's the way that adolescents are. Everything is first time. You are looking for adventure, you are looking for thrill, you are looking for so many things, and everything is first time. Yeah. So one tends to think that the person is mature enough to have the right choices, but maybe they are not. And it shows that many they are not. He was going to the gym, and I thought that whatever the wrongdoing he might be taking, it was just experimental, like many of us had done in adolescence. But sometimes you get trapped, or most of the time you get trapped. And that was the day that he was a good footballer. And if he went there to this house with his friends to watch the Brazilian game. It was the first game of the World Cup. You know, had gone for something that's healthy and enjoyable and never to come back. Because really took the wrong choice. Excess, he got sick and choked to death. So after that, I really did not know what I'm going to do, and I said, well, there are two choices basically. You know, one is, like I say, run away from myself, and the other one is to do what we are doing now. Yes. And since I was determined that he will live forever through this foundation, helping other pals, other youngsters. I mean, as an example that, you know, things can go wrong. You might not be an addict, you might be just recreational, but you'd never know what your body is about, what reaction you can have.
Exactly.
And we live in a tough world that people adulterate everything. And I mean, if it's drug is to take your mind out of reality. So any rubbish of chemical been mixed, and as you know, there are new drugs that is domestically made, unfortunately. And unfortunately also, these recipes are in the internet. So, I mean, you know, curiosity, that's what you talk about. Yeah. During this period, you know, the shaitan is there. You want to do something that hidden for your parents, and something that someone said it's nice, and then and with that thrill that, oh, I almost die. You know, that's the things that the feeling, you know. You have to tell your friends, yesterday I almost died. So it's a thrill. Yeah. But you survive, and you keep on pushing. There's until you don't really know what your body reaction is. And there are people that will spend their entire life having drugs. There are people that is the first time, some people on the third. Yeah.
And he was obviously hanging out with kids who went to private schools here and stuff like that. I mean, I think many people seem to think that drug abuse is something that happens only in like lower sections of the society, but that's not the case.
No, not the case at all. Unfortunately, it's everywhere. I mean, it's not one class only that consume. Obviously, depends what kind of drugs you are having. You have to have money for it. Yeah. And even though depends how much money your parents give to you, pocket money, and unfortunately, in many cases, the person developed to be a peddler. So he will be peddling in the schools. because they have to get money, drug for themselves, and they have to supply, so to generate this kind. So it's not only, the problem is not become only the addiction, the consuming of drugs, but also the peddling, because you have to generate money from somewhere.
Of course, yeah.
To maintain your addiction.
Yeah. Why do you think drug abuse is so common, especially among teenagers? What drives them?
I shall say lack of engagement.
Yeah.
Right? We have fantastic policies in Pakistan that have not been applied or enforced. For instance, school have to have the minimum of 4 hours of physical education per week. Failing to do so, the school will be shut. How many schools you go that there is no proper campus, there is no proper area for physical education, only the gathering area, but not a proper area to practice a game, or, football, handball, football, okay, forget it, basketball, I mean, anything that they bring the students, the youth together. I'm not talking about solo sports. Solo sports, the person is already sorted, right? Just now we had a young boy who won the British Open in squash. So you mean he's young, it was junior, he's young, he's sorted, right? But many, or the majority, needs support. It needs that, teamwork. And the teamwork, and it's proven again and again that sports is, we have a program that calls Sport is the Answer, which sports is everything. And always that I mention to the youth, to the youngsters, that if you check the Olympic chart, I mean, who are the 3 leading countries in the Olympic chart and what are their role in the world? I mean, it's always United States, China, Russia. What are their roles? And when they start to do physical exercise, when they are toddlers.
Exactly.
I mean, so this creates discipline, unity, and that's what is lacking here, unfortunately.
Going to take a short break now. See you when we come back. Welcome back. I'm here in conversation with Cristina von Sperling Afridi. So, after the death of your son, a lot of people were saying you should hide it, you should not talk about what happened actually. Why is it such a big taboo?
Well, actually, yeah, it was, I reacted so badly with that suggestion. And that someone said, oh, you should not talk that your son died because he took some drugs. And I said, do you think you should say that you should say that he died in a car accident? So I said, even suggest how I should do it. So I said, why, you fool? Do you think that my pain is going to be less? I mean, this is an opportunity that I have to really console my own self, helping others, because he was my only child. So, I mean, now I have to have a reason even more to live, and that is to help other people in his name. Exactly. So this hypocrisy of, again, that I'll talk to pretend that it's not this. And there are so many cases I can't tell you. I mean, I said, well, eventually one day I will write a book of cases that, I mean, we all know. Because even today, if a 18 years old or 19 years old are dying of heart attack, unless you have a tremendous genetic problem to justify that death, otherwise you have taken something.
Yeah.
It is obvious who you want to fool. Obviously, no one wants to get married to a drug addict, being a girl or a boy.
Yeah.
So the family protect that situation for not to happen, because maybe how many times I have heard that ye shadi karo or chik ho jayega. It's not like this. It's not like this. That's why prevention is the key.
Yeah.
prevention to not to be there, because once you become dependent, unfortunately, we have been seeing a mushrooming of rehabilitation centers with no capacity whatsoever. I mean, from chaining the bed to 24 hours sedating and calling this rehabilitation, it is not rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is something else. It's involved detox and reintegration to the society. I mean, to identify what's gone wrong, because unfortunately, when you get addict, it calls you a recovering person.
Yeah.
Because you are always recovering, because any silly thing you may relapse, and for the old time's sake, you may relapse. So you become so vulnerable after that. So it's very important that why should you go there? So you are not solving problems that you might think that you have, you create one further and bigger. We have recommended and it is in the official site of UNODC about the restriction that should be imposed to the entertainment industry. That's not free for all. And everything became like that. You should do it what you feel like. That's not like that. One should have a responsibility. Because if today you are working with computer, either you sit beside your son 24 hours to see if he's not seeing something else, or you trust him, and trusting him, you might be betraying yourself, in the sense that he might be watching or learning something else.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. Therefore, it is, yes, today, I could not save my son, but I can save other people's kids, and telling the parents that they should be more present, that they should. We became so individualist and in the world that each one do whatever they feel like, but it's not like that. Sometimes there is a real shoe. We have to be very close to identify. Sometimes it's just the adolescent behavior, and sometimes it's just an accident that happens, and that one should regret forever. But we have to be closer today. Machines and things, they do not make a better human being, but another human being can help another one. So we need more good people. We need people more sensitized. We become very cold to what is happening. Yeah. And also the people that got trapped to that, we should be helpful to them to try to rescue back to a life with no addiction, which is much better. This is the real freedom, when you don't need anything to live. Apart from food. But if your existence is depending on some chemicals, this is very bad. Being a drug, alcohol, anything that you depend on, that is not the basic for survival, it's something that's very bad.
So what was it in the end that convinced you to start this foundation?
Well, it was his dad. It was really his dad, and the purpose. He was the purpose of my life. Yeah. So I came to Pakistan to keep the family together, and so when I remember when I was talking about the name, conveniently he will say that I'm Brazilian. Conveniently he will say that my Pakistani. Very clever. Especially in the Urdu classes. Now, when he was not doing well, he said, well, I'm Brazilian. Yeah. I said, no, you're not Brazilian, you are Pakistani. So he was very funny. But it was his absence and that made me really find that the others are my kids as well. To fulfill my existence, basically. As I used to be interior designer, and I have so many other business entrepreneurs. And I gave up everything because I say there is nothing more important than to open up a dialogue on this taboo subject that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can feel that after 5 years that our work together with our team and KKWF, we are talking, we are opening up, we are finding reasons and finding solutions, because it's not only good to identify what's wrong. If you do not solve that problem, so then it's nothing. A good idea can only be a good idea if it can be implemented. The drug addiction tackles, there are 3 aspects: prevention primarily, rehabilitation. If in case it happens, it has to be there, because we have to bring people back to the society to live healthy. But most of all, enforcement. Because if you consume because the thing is available. I mean, if it is not available, there is no risk.
Yeah.
So I think that these 3 have to be really working together, and each one in their own thing. But the civil society, it's a must. Without the civil society, you do not consume. Without the civil society accept that we have a problem, that the monster is out there, and we have to tackle this, nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, so what are the most important programs of the foundation? What are the areas that you focus on?
Our foundation stands on 5 pillars that primarily is drug awareness, but environment, sports, arts and culture, and civic sense.
Yeah.
We believe that all these 5 elements put it together in every event that we do, and they are all together, we will have a better person, an engaged person, and we will help them to be away from the attraction of drugs. Because as I was mentioned before, sports, I mean, it's clear, it's not I'm creating this. I say that body is so perfectly made, our body. I mean, God had made our body so perfect that we have these hormones that you activate in a different situation. For instance, if you play a sport, if you are engaged physically, you are going to stimulate your endorphin. These are the hormones that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
That gives you power, give you strength, makes. This is so natural. I said you have your kick within you. You don't need any extra.
Yeah.
If you are engaged physically, I mean, you already stimulating your own self. You don't need any extra thing. So it is imperative for me to change this mindset and the attitude and the availability of drugs. And it is to empower the youth. And how you empower the youth? For me, the solution number 1 is the sports.
Yeah.
There is no other exit. And not a ministry of sport dedicate for youth wellness. It's only for youth. That you see the 135 million is the capacity. It's 10 countries put it together in Europe, or 10 countries in Middle East. 10 countries put together. This is what we have here.
Yeah.
And I hope that 2020, it's a game changer. 2020, we have to identify what is our reality. And in 10 years from now, we are going to evaluate that were we serious about it, or have we changed something? Have we achieved something? So let's take this 2020 as a very serious step for the eradication of drug abuse in Pakistan.
What about the families of the victims of drug abuse? Is there any kind of a support network for them? Like, were you able to reach out to anybody for help?
We received many phone calls. We received many phone calls of mothers, basically. Fathers sometime, but mothers basically. See, once we stop to think that it's a shameful thing. Why drug abuse, it is a disease, it becomes a mental disease, it is a problem. Yeah. If you have some heart problem, you can talk about. If you have any other health issue, you can talk about, but you cannot talk about drug abuse. Because there are so many issues involved in that. When Karim died, my first feeling was that, what did I do wrong? Everything was planning accordingly, and what did I do? It's a guilty feeling.
Of course.
Of failure. But I started to think a lot. I said there was no one that could love him more.
Exactly.
We loved him. We did the best that we could, and it was a fatality. And obviously no parents deserve to bury a child. It's not natural. And I thought, with this, I said, opening up, I'm going to give a chance for other parents to take the same courage, because I think it takes courage, because it is seen, that is a failure of parenting failure, but it's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not true. I read a lot. We've been part of so many seminars in the world. The pattern is the same, and it's not true, because I will have given my life for him to be living now. I just want to say that we are there. I just want to say that we are there for the family. We are there to share your problem. We are there to help you to solve your problem. See, you can just look after us. Come back to us. We work with no judgmental approach. We are open, and we are there for you, for the family. That's the message that I would say. Don't keep it to yourself. It's not fair. And you're not going to solve your problem. Because like you, there are many, and we together, we are stronger.
We're going to take a short break. See you when we come back. Welcome back. I'm here in conversation with Cristina von Sperling Afridi. So when parents start to suspect their children might be doing drugs, what do they usually do? What is the usual reaction?
Unfortunately, they will try, of course, to solve the problems, and at the same time, they will hide from the rest of the family. Because again, we are talking about that guilty feeling, and the shame of failure, that no one really had planned for it. And if these things happening, we have to just be frank and try to solve the problem, because it's, as I said, this can be in any kind of family. We, as society, we are vulnerable. Especially the youngsters, because I say it's when you are young, there's a face of truth. You believe in everybody. Everyone who came close to you is my friend, my friend. When you see us have thousands of friends, they really do not, because you are so welcoming. Everything is so new for you. And you are pure, still in a pure state of life, that you think that everybody will be doing to you what you are doing to them. And it's not any longer. I say that now, fortunately, the era of innocence is gone. So 6 years old knows a lot already. We have seen yourself, many parents, that the baby, just to shut up the baby, they put the mobile in front of them.
And you come across all kinds of information there.
It's the entertainment goes elsewhere, so the people are not present anymore.
So one of the issues is obviously, or the main issue is the lack of awareness. people don't understand the dangers of drugs. Is that correct?
I think that there was a time, not any longer, because everybody knows that tobacco is not good.
Yeah.
Yet with that horrible image, people are still smoking.
Yeah, that's also true.
Right?
People don't
So
care.
what we have to realize that how important you are for yourself. I mean, that it's so right. Why you have to be fomenting business of the big pharma? I mean, you go to the pharmacy, it's like you had gone to the Wonderland. That's the place who's going to solve all your problems. You know, you make you beautiful, you will put you to sleep, that you are restless, we will make this and make that. I mean, it's just an illusion.
Yeah.
So we have to change this perception that the medicine, this medicine, unnecessary medicine, taken self-medicated, or this marketing in the world that promising the good life through the medicine. So you have to use intelligence and logic to be able to see that this is not the case.
Yeah. What are the most common drugs that kids are doing these days?
Well, the old heroin is there all the time, and but now we have amphetamine ice, which is all lab-made new chemicals, and they keep on inventing new one every day because it's a market. So I mean, one is good, and the understand is that the old drugs are going to become like obsolete in a sense, because they are invented drugs now that odorless and so small and so powerful that it's difficult also to the law enforcement catch this kind of thing. I mean, apparently there are some drugs now so tiny that you can use in your eyelid. So the question is to why should you do that to yourself?
Exactly.
So it's there where the awareness should be playing a role to stimulate your logic, your intelligence regarding to oneself. Nah? So that is in many other drugs, because I have gone into the rural area, and unfortunately due to the lack of understanding by schools explaining what's happened to your body during that period, girls taking lots of this syrup, make a concoction of syrup that is easily available, you know, and knock them down. Really? You know, it's to maybe calm down period pains or things that is not being discussed. But one simple thing is that if you do sports, all these effects in your life comes minimal, that it will not, disturb or make you to take all the things or the exit that might cost you really a life of a good life.
Exactly. Are there any signs that parents should be looking out for in their children to recognize if they're doing it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are lack of appetite. There is also, of course, bad mood, which again you have to see that the reality of that during that period of life. Red eyes. These are, and of course, lack of interest in the schools all of a sudden. And when I talk to schools also, I'd like to, if it's possible, to send a message to the parents to stop pressurize the kids on the straight A's matter. I mean, this culture of straight A's should not exist. In countries that have, like I think in Singapore, they have decided that there is no competition any longer.
Yeah.
You are what you are. and we will enhance your talent, whatever may be. Because in the long run, and the ultimate in your life is to find something that you're so much passionate about, that you're going to live throughout doing this. And at the end of the day, what it will bring is happiness. It's all that we all pursuing is happiness.
Exactly.
So then encourage the kids, if they are talented for arts or things. Not everybody has to have to be an engineer or a doctor. I mean, you have to be passionate for what you're doing, exactly. Whatever may be and whatever you choose. This is your life, you own it, and you should be proud and happy with it.
Do you feel like the work that you're doing with the foundation is making a difference already in the society?
Definitely, definitely. When we start to talk about, it's like we are knocking in the doors of the schools, you know, like we are here to talk about drugs. Talk about drugs. Yeah, we are here, we're doing drug awareness. You know, in the beginning it was quite difficult. And then some realized the importance of it, that the dialogue should be open in this issue. And we did. I mean, we are quite proud to say that we have done that. And today we are invited everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, not only in schools, but in universities, which is very good. Like we have to talk about. And we also, because we have a very interesting program, we have just one that's talk about a presentation, what is to be a teenager. And we have also an activity that's throughout the week. With these activities, as I mentioned before, we utilize all our elements, which is environment. We plant a tree. We have a poster competition, arts competition. We have an essay competition, and we have a skit or play. We have a football game or another sports game. So throughout the week, we are talking about the subject. But it's not like, you know, a dada, it's not like a lecture.
Yeah.
It should be part of your life. It's, as you're saying, it's an understanding.
Absolutely.
That is necessary.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for the foundation, do you think you would have stayed on in Pakistan after your son's death?
It's a big question. Because now I have only my husband here, and I have dear friends, but I also have my mother that is aging, and my brothers and sisters in Brazil. So my aim is to have the foundation walking by itself, because it's not my foundation. The foundation belongs to the kids, belongs to Pakistan, belongs to the people of Pakistan, whosoever would like to take it on and continue this mission. So what I hope is that this decade will be a mark for Pakistan to take really charge of all these social issues that will, unless you tackle them, unless they address as serious the way that should be, we cannot expect more, because it's social issues that also very important, justice, because when you see justice, you have hope. When you have no justice, it becomes free for all. So when you see justice happen, bad people had been punished for the the wrongdoings. So then you encourage you to keep a life of, a good life, with a balanced life, with morals, family morals, and you continue that. Otherwise, if you do not see justice, you will see more and more the social cases increasing, and at the end of the day, The people that are educating are reducing the number of kids, but the people that have no reference of a good life, they are increasing tremendously. So unless we tackle that, I mean, I say that drugs is the center of all evils. Everything is related, because intoxicated mind makes you do all this with the addiction. You are ready to do whatever you will be asked to get your drugs.
Yes.
So it's a very serious issue. Actually, this is the main issue. Economics, we can always fix finance problem of it. But the moral issue, to rescue the character of a nation, this is a very difficult task, and it takes decades to do that. So I hope that 2020, we have to start and to rescue the true spirit of Islam that we all have, we all hope, and that's with that, surely the country going to prosper.
Well, it's incredibly important work that you're doing here in Pakistan, and I hope you continue it in future as well. So now it's time for you to sign our visitor's book.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. Thank you. Let's see what you wrote. Thank you for the opportunity to spread the message of hope for a better Pakistan 2020. Thank you so much for having me here and talking about this very important issue.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's it for today. Please join me again next week, and don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts at indus.news. Goodbye.